Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. Thank you for your support. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button, click like as well as the notification bell. So in this video, I hope to teach you guys how to make this awesome VBA system. It is actually a student records management system that is made using the VBA code. I hope that through my video, you are able to pick up a skill or two about VBA programming and how to manipulate the user form. So without further ado, let me do a quick demo. Alright, so as you can see, this is the basic interface of this system. The background is just a picture. So if I click on open, so you can see there are different fields for student ID, family name, the given name of the student, address, postal code, phone number, email, identification number, the school. There's different choices to choose from, enrollment year, and also there is a function for the student to upload the photo, and you can also include the family contact here, the name, address, number, email as well. So there's different functions as well, such as saving the record to the sheet right here, the database, reset, update, delete. So if I hit delete button, essentially what it does is that it will remove the record from the database worksheet and move it into the deleted records worksheet. And then there's a close button. So let me just quickly show you guys how this works. Let me click close. Okay, if we look at this particular sheet, you can see there are already 10 records here. So right now I'm gonna save a new record to this sheet. So back to control, open. So let's say student ID, maybe 99. Family name student is So. Given name is Mary. Address Grand Hill Avenue 123. Let's give it a fictitious address. Postal code, right? And number. Okay. Email. So in this course, I'll also show you guys how to do simple email verification. Okay, identification code, school, different options. So this is actually made using a combo box, which I'll also show you guys how to use it in this course. Enrollment year. Okay. Upload photo. Okay, so alright. So this is the picture of the student. Okay, family member, maybe Daniel So. Address. For efficiency's sake, I can click same as the above, and you'll copy the address right above down into this field. So this actually saves a lot of time. Number. So for simplicity's sake, I'll just give it a slight modification. danielso@gmail.com. So this is the new entry that I will be saving to the database sheet. So when I click save, okay, so the student ID already exists. So this is also a verification existing verification that prevents you from saving record with this the student ID that already exists on the sheet. So let me just change it to something else. How about 999? Okay, save. Alright, so record successfully saved. I click OK. And before we check the record that has been saved, let me just quickly demonstrate reset. So reset works. Okay, so I click close. Database, as you can see here, the new record has been saved on this database sheet. Now, going back to the primary worksheet, if I click open, let's say click when I enter 999 search, I'm able to retrieve the record that I've just saved. And let's say I want to update the family name to So1. And when I click update, update completed, close. When I go to database, as you can see, the family name has been updated to So1, so it works. When I go back to the control sheet, let me pull up the latest record again. So let's say I want to try to delete the record. So when I press delete, pop-up message says deletion complete, record moved to deleted records sheet. Okay. When I click close, first when I check the database sheet, alright, the last record is gone. And when I check the deleted records, as you can see, the record that we've just deleted has shifted to the deleted records sheet. So if this project is interesting to you, please keep on watching, and I will guide you through the steps on how to create this system. Thank you. Alright, so let's start the course. So first of all, create a new Excel workbook and ensure that it is macro enabled. So the extension should be .xlsm. Alright, and before we get into coding, also kindly ensure that you have enabled the developer tab. So this can be done under settings, and there's plenty of tutorial and online sources that teach you how to enable this section. So I'll skip that. Right, so let's start. So first click home. Let's create all the worksheets because they are easier. So let's just get them done. Control. This sheet is where we'll put our main control buttons, and then our database worksheet containing all the student records, followed by deleted records that will contain all the student details that have been deleted, just in case you want to track it. Statistics. Okay, so this sheet eventually will contain a pivot table that will give you an overview of the student population that will show at the later part of the course. Lastly, data management. Alright. Okay, so database. So right now what I'll do is I'll just quickly copy all the different headings. So at any point of this course, if you think that I'm going too fast or slow, kindly adjust the speed using the YouTube video setting of the bottom right hand corner. There's a gear and you can actually set the constant speed. So alright, I've pasted all the required headings on this sheet, and then I'll also do the same for this particular sheet as well. Press Ctrl S to save. So okay, so that is done. Next, we're gonna build the interface, the control interface of our application. So first step, insert, click pictures from this particular device. It's entirely up to you which picture you want to use, but for the sake of this course, I'll just use the picture that I already have. Insert. Okay, it's taking a while. Alright, it's in. Next, when I click on this picture format, because I want to ensure that the corner is rounded, it's entirely up to you how you want to design to format your picture, but for me, I want it to be round. Bevel rectangle, picture effects, so no shadow, reflection, glow, no glow, soft edges, bevel, no bevel. Alright, so this is what I want. Next, we're gonna give a heading. Alright, so insert heading of our system shape. I'm gonna put a rectangle here. So this is where I put the title of our system. Let me just do some adjustment. Maybe I use darker gray, then outline, no outlines. Let's see. Right click, format shape, view. So over here I will increase the transparency of this picture so that it looks more appealing. Maybe 35. Alright, I think that will do. And then now I will insert text, student records management system. Okay, Control A to select everything. I'm going to increase the font size, so maybe 25. Let's see. Okay, better. No fill. Right. Okay, much better. And also no line. Much better. Alright, just do a little bit of adjustment. Okay, I think that looks decent. Okay, Control S to save. So as you are developing this system, as a general advice, please constantly save your work, because just in case if your system crash or your file crash, you have some backup. I'll close this panel. Alright, so now I'll insert two buttons here. Alright, so insert, click insert. Okay, no. First click developer, click insert. Under ActiveX controls, you'll see command button, so click this. Then see, just drag and the button comes out. Right click and select properties. So we're gonna rename the caption of this button. So how do we do that? Where's caption? Here. I'm just gonna call this open. Alright. And of course, as you can see over here, there's a lot of other different properties that you can play around with and change. So it's entirely up to you. So font, I think the size is a little bit small. Maybe I'll put it to 18. Right, much better. Now, when I select the button, Control C, Control V, right, that's a fast way to duplicate. To clone the button, properties, caption, and I'll call this statistics. Okay, that's it. Alright, save. And another neat trick that I want to show you guys is that you can press control key, select all this different stuff, right click, and you can group. So in this way, you see, when accidentally shift any component, everything will move along together. So that is a neat trick. Right now, I'm going to show you guys how to create the registration form. So first of all, when we click on the open button, it will bring out the form. So first, select the open button. Ensure that under the developer tab, your design mode is selected as well. Right click on the open button and view code. Okay, so this is what you see. So essentially, when you click on the open button, it will run the sequence that is within this particular sub function. Okay, so what we'll do is let's insert the user form first. User form, you can drag and drop resize, right click properties. Okay, so let's just call this registration, right? So let's put in all the labels as well as text fields and combo boxes, right? So let me just resize it a little bit. Click on view, toolbox, and you'll see this comes out. So these are the various controls that we're gonna include in our user form. There's label, text field, combo box, list box, and all the other functions. So right now what I'll do is I'll find frame. Frame is just a nice way to group together different fields so that when the users see the form, it's just a neat way for them to identify different sections of the form. So where is it here? Okay, right click properties. I'll call this student particulars, right? Sorry, caption. Okay, font, put it 12, maybe slightly bigger, be 16, it looks better. And as we have more fields for the student, I'll make the frame a bit larger. Alright, and here, properties, caption, I'll give it emergency, family, contact. Okay. Font 16. Alright. Okay, that is good. Next, I will put in the labels. So label 1, oops, let me just quickly cancel this. I mean, don't be afraid if this this thing happens to you. You accidentally click something, right? Don't panic. So just do what I'm doing right here, expand, and then you're just back. So what I did was I accidentally, I think I double clicked this, and then this sub came out. So just press this restore button, restore window here, close it, and there we go. Properties, I will call it student ID. Okay. This particular label, I will make the font slightly smaller, maybe 12. Okay, it looks better. Alright, and then I will put in the text box over here. Alright, looks better. Okay, something like that will do. You gotta drag it a bit longer, make it a bit wider so I can put more fields. Okay, so after student ID, student ID is used to identify all the students, so each student is supposed to have a unique student ID. Next, so what I did was I just press Control, select these two fields, and I Control C, Control V to duplicate this, properties, and family name. Okay, great. Do the same thing. Click properties, give a name, I'm gonna perform this action quite a number of times for all the different text boxes, the fields. So if you think this is a bit repetitive, feel free to fast forward the video. So right click properties, address, Alright, if you click on the label, I think you just click it. You can also edit the text. So that's another way instead of looking at the properties. Number. Alright, so this happened. I mean, don't worry, because when you drag, see, you expand out. Later, I will spend some time to align all these different labels and also do some adjustments to make sure that everything is displayed properly. For now, we just leave it. Okay. Alright. Okay, so when I select and click it again, I can change the label. Email. identification number. Okay, running out of space. Let me just expand the frame. Okay. School. Alright, for school, we're no longer using a text box, where we need to use a combo box. Select the text field, hit delete to remove. Go back to a text box, toolbox, and then let's look for a combo box. Here we go. Alright, bring it out. And we also need the combo box for enrollment year. So let's put that in enrollment year. Okay. Alright. So we need to spend some time to neaten the display. Maybe I'll just select all the input boxes, and let's see if I can drag it a little bit to the right. Alright, so this will give me additional space here to align the labels. So what I did was I pressed Control and I selected all my labels. Right click, align, center. Let's try, how about align to the left? Okay, better. It's looking neater already, but maybe I'll just bring the text boxes in alignment with the combo box. Much better. Let me just hit Ctrl S to save. Alright, this looks good. Let me just make my emergency family contact section same width as my student particular section. Okay, so right now, maybe I will need to make it a bit bigger, okay, to accommodate the different buttons that I will put in later. So right now, I need to put in the search button. Let's see, where is the button? Command button. Let's try this. Okay, this looks big. I need to reduce the size. Properties. First of all, let me fix the caption. It is search, right? And font, I have to make it, I believe it's 12. Okay, better. Let me just resize it. Okay, resize it a little bit more. Alright, so over here we will include the student photo. So again, the real estate must be increased. If not, we cannot fit all the controls and all the features. So let me just expand everything again. Okay, maybe just a little bit. Alright. Image. The image, I'll put it here. Okay. Then I will put in the upload button. Alright, so let me just duplicate properties, upload photo. Okay, just right. Okay, if you click it as well, just click it, you can change the name, delete photo. Okay, I will put in a text box here because okay, so this part may be a little bit confusing to you guys, but don't worry because it is just a way to retrieve the image URL. When I search for the student record, this particular field will pull out the image URL and help me display the picture. So right now it may sound a little foreign, but just bear with me and just follow the steps, and later I'll show you guys how it works. Properties, I will set the visible attribute to false so that it's invisible, right? Maybe here I just put, for name I put image underscore URL. Okay, close it. Okay, and then let me do student. Okay, the student part is done. Let me do the family part. Same thing, Control C, Control V. I'll just bring it down here. This is family member name. Okay, there we go. Just do some, it's very easy to just drag and drop the label and text box. All right, so don't be afraid if you mess it up because it's easy to fix. Okay, maybe okay, this will be address. Okay, maybe just resize it a little bit, followed by phone number. Right, let me just resize it a little bit, and then email as well. All right, let's see if I can. So again, press Control, select all these labels, align, left. How about right? Right. Maybe this is better, but let me just cut out the space a little bit. Right. Better. I'll probably fix the labels above by removing the redundant space that's on the right. Okay. All right. So I think this is the whole essence of development. You know, you don't get it right the first time round. You have to do some adjustments, and then gradually it becomes better and better after each iteration. So just get used to this idea of revisiting your design and revisiting your code to make it better. Right click, right, okay, all right, save. Then I need to put in, let's see, a checkbox to allow the user. So when a user select the checkbox, what it does is that a lot of times student there's a possibility the student actually stay at the same address as the emergency family member. So when the family member click on this checkbox here, it will just duplicate the address of the student and copy it into text field. So this just saves the hassle of typing all over again. This caption will be same as above. Font, I will put it maybe 10. Okay, great, perfect. I also need to include a bunch of buttons at the bottom of the form. So let me just quickly include them. Toolbox. Where am I? Okay, you know what? To make it fast, I just Ctrl C, Ctrl V, duplicate the buttons from existing buttons so that I can retain the font as well as the size. Click, save. Alright. Just single click and then you can edit the caption, reset. Update. Delete. And close. Close, it is used to close the form. Alright, so this looks good. Maybe I'll make it a little bit slimmer. So just okay, make it slimmer. Control and click on all the buttons. Let's say align center. Oops. Okay, so if you ever make a mistake, just press Ctrl Z and then it will revert. You'll undo the previous action. So what I'm doing now is Control, click all the buttons, and now I can shift it about. I think it looks pretty decent. It can definitely accomplish our objective. Click on save. So that is done. So now remember that we have set the name of this form as registration, because if you do right click properties, the name is registration. So right now what I'll do is I will close it first. So the idea is that when we click on the open button, it should bring out the form. So right click, view code, tab. Okay, as you can see, the font is pretty visible. So how I do it is that think tools, options, editor. So I believe you can increase the size here. You see it got larger. So tools, options, editor, for editor format. Maybe it is too big, so maybe 18. Alright, so this will help make the text a bit larger, so it's easy for you to read. So registration dot show. Okay, so I press tab. So essentially what happened was that dot, see all this helpful, I would say, attributes will pop out by VBA itself. So I see the word, I just press tab and then show, Ctrl S, save. So let's try this. Notice that currently my design mode is enabled, so let me disable this, and when I press open, voila, as you can see, my form just shows up, right? Of course, all these different options has not yet been populated, but I'll show you guys later what it does. So it works. enable the design mode, select open, view code, and back here, registration form, right click, view object. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text box for student ID, right click, properties. Alright, so essentially what I'm going to do here is that before we start programming proper, we have to give all these text boxes, comment boxes, all these different controls its unique name, so that in our VBA program is able to recognize all these different parts of the form, and that's how we can retrieve the variables, we can do manipulation. So right now, just follow my steps. I'm just gonna give this a unique name, student ID. Okay, click right saved, right click properties, family name. So this is actually called camel casing, small f big N. I just like the presentation of this text because it's easily readable. So right click properties, call it given name. Okay, since we have two address fields, I'm just gonna call it this one student address, so that later on it'll be easier to differentiate them apart. Poster code, student phone number. Again, we have phone number for the family contact as well, so this will be student phone number. Right, properties, email. Okay, right click properties, student identification. Maybe I'll call this school combo box. I think that will be easily recognizable. Enrollment year combo box. Alright, so that's done. Continue text box, family member name. Okay, family address, family phone number, oops, let me minimize, close, open it again. This will be family email. Alright, let me check. Okay, it's done. Here, properties, checkbox. Okay, so this will I call this address checkbox. Okay. Alright, this one, properties, name will be search button. BTN stands for button. This will be student image. So when I retrieve the student image, this will come out, and when I upload the student image, it will also show up here. img. Alright, properties, this will be upload photo. Okay, right click, delete delete photo. Okay, properties, okay, image underscore URL, so this is already done. Here, properties, this will be save btn, properties, reset btn, right click, properties, update btn, properties, delete btn, and finally close btn. Alright, so before I go to the save function, I think it is important to teach you guys how to write a sub procedure on how to clear out all the values in this particular user form when you launch it. So how do you write this initialize sub procedure? Let me quickly show you. So firstly, click on the registration user form, right click, view code, and next, okay, I think previously when we click on the different features of the forms, all these different sub routines or procedures got created. So don't worry, we'll just highlight them and backspace to delete them because right now we don't need them. And then over here, I'm gonna write a new sub procedure, sub user form underscore initialize. Alright, and so this sub procedure will be activated when we launch the form, and the intention of this sub procedure is that it will clear out all the preset values of the form. So clear out those values. So right click, view object, properties, student ID, right click, view code, dot value tab. So what I'm doing here is that every time when the form is launched, it will actually empty out the text fields. That's why when I view object properties, early on I mentioned that it is important to give the respective text fields its individual name, so that now I can manipulate it in my code. Okay, now I will do the same thing for family name, view code. So essentially, oops, I'm gonna do the same thing for all the text fields. So feel free to skip this part, or I'll just fast forward this part. Object, value, instead of doing it like the way above, we'll use .clear to clear out the combo box first. Then what we'll do next is that we will add in the options for the user to choose. So what I'll do is with tab dot add item. Now it's entirely up to you what the options will be, but for me, for the sake of this course, I'll just give it a few school names. Computing term of law. Alright, so I populated these options. Make sure that you end the with and with. Alright, this is the closure. Now similarly, when I reobject, when I go to the next combo box, which is the enrollment year, copy that out. Your code, do the same, clear it first, and return. Just give it a few options to choose from. Again, it's entirely up to you what options you want to give. 8. Oh. 1. Right. Let's see. Right click. Okay, so what I'm doing here is that for the student image, I'm setting the visibility to false. So when the form is being launched, the picture is erased in a sense. And that's how you do it, by setting the visibility to false. New object. Next, okay, I have 4 more fields. Value. Okay, I think we're more or less done. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is that, let me just minimize this, go back to the form, right, and then ensure that your design mode is disabled. When I click open, okay, there's nothing there. Let's say if I put W1234 as a student ID, close, launch, okay, it works. Alright, I can see the options populated as well under school enrollment year, but the text, as you can see here, the text is a bit large, so we're gonna fix that. And how? Under developer tab, go to Visual Basic, select combo box properties. Under font, over here, see 3 dots, press. Let's reduce the size to 10. Okay. Enrollment year as well. Font 10. Close. Save. Much better. So now I can see all my options being populated. Right. So now, since we're on the initialization stage of this form, I'll also teach you guys how to do the reset. So go back to the code, the form, right click on reset, right click view code. As you can see, this procedure, just the opening and closing just come out automatically. And then I will just call user form initialize. Right. So essentially, when I click on the reset button, it will run the user form initialize sub procedure, and it will run all these tasks to reset the text fields as empty, right? And also populate the options of for the enrollment year and the schools in the combo boxes. So let's just quickly try that out. If I click open, let's say student ID, family name, Long, John, okay, something here. We'll press reset. Okay, it works. Alright, so now I'll teach you guys how to do the save function. First, let's go to the code editor, right click, view object, select save, right click, view code. So over here, this is the sub procedure for save function. I'm going to declare some variables. Don't be afraid, because I will explain them later how we'll use these variables. Row as long, okay, checker as boolean, error message as string, error counter as integer, then RNG as range, last row as long. Okay, quite a number of variables, and I'll explain them later. So checker, equals to true. Right, okay, so first of all, we have the checker, right? So what it does is that when a user is filling in the different values into the user form, we'll check if any of the text boxes are empty, and if they're empty, or if the format is wrong, then it'll flag out and a pop-up message to tell the user that, hey, please correct the mistake, so in order for the record to be saved properly into the worksheet. So that is the function of the checker. Also, we have error message attribute. Right, for now, just set it as empty. So this is a string type attribute. Alright, so essentially what error message will do is that it will store all the error messages to be displayed for the user to see. Error counter, it is just, I'll set it as 0 for now. It's just to show a number in front of the error message. It's just something nice to have. Okay, so right now I'll write some validations that check if the text boxes in the user form are empty or not. So right click on the user form and the object properties. Let me extract the user form. Oops. Code. Okay. So this, if, okay, I realized that with all the attributes already below, so it made my life a bit easier. So if student ID dot value equals to empty, then if it's empty, by right there's supposed to be a value, but if it's empty, then I'll set the checker as false. Alright, and error counter equals to error counter plus 1. Alright, so what this means is that it will add 1 to its existing value, 0, and give it 1. So as we check each of the text boxes for family name, for email, we'll increase the counter number as well. And then error message that want to display to the user equals to error counter, which is a number, and dot student ID is empty, and be new line. So what I'm doing here is that I'm using concatenation that combine the error message number as well as this is a string reference, which is the error message that is delimited by the quotation mark to tell the user that, hey, student ID is empty, and this is a new line to the error message, so that as we populate different error messages, the error message will start off with a new line. Right. Over here, else if, I'll also check that the student ID is a number. Alright, so that is second condition that I'm checking. So first condition, I'm checking if it's empty. Second, I'm checking if it's a number. So how do I do that? Else if not is numeric, then and if. Okay, and if let me copy this. If the student ID value is not a numeral, it's not numeric, and I want to flag that out, right? If it's not a number, by right it should be a number. If it's not a number, then I also set checker to be false. So initially the checker is true, and along the way, as the user fills out the form, if any input is wrong, it'll be flagged out, it'll be set as false, because true and false, these are Boolean values, and once we verify all the values, and depending on the final outcome, which is governed by the true or false from the checker, then we'll save it to the database worksheet. So after all the validation is done, if the final outcome of the checker remains to be true, that means there are no errors at all, then the record will be saved. Alright, so I'll do the same over here. This is add one more number to the error counter. Then over here, I'll just error message equals to error counter and a message. Okay, student ID must be a number and maybe new line, right? Alright, I can also write a little comment on top, single quote. This is student ID validation, and it's highlighted in green. By the way, if you highlight everything here, you notice that there's a comment block. I can press this and then the whole block of code will be commented out. That means when this procedure is run, it will skip out this commented out section, highlight everything. If I press uncomment block, and they'll be uncommented and this part will be run. Alright, let's see next. Let's see what's next. Family name, given name, address. Okay, view code. Family name. I'll do the same for family name as well. Okay, if capital I, if then again check equals false, error counter at 1, right? I'll change the message. Student family name is empty. So these are compulsory fields, they should not be left empty. And if, okay, right, let me just write one more. After that is given name. If is empty, then, and if, let me close it first in case I forget it. Right click, copy everything here. Change the message to student name is empty, right? This is the message. Okay. Next will be the address. Okay, so before I go on, just want to quickly show you guys what happens if you try to save all these attributes, how the error message will look like. So let me just add a comment here, saving to database worksheet. So if checker, then if it's true, then I'll activate the database worksheet. Alright, and also let's see, Let me do a else and if. Right. Yep. Okay. Sorry. If it's true, I activate the sheet. Else, if it's false, I mean if there are error messages, then I'll display a message box with the combined error messages. That has a OK button, and the title says error messages. Alright, so let's try that to see if it works. Maybe you can just fill up the student ID first, and then we'll leave the rest of the fields empty. Okay, so let's just minimize this. Let's put 1, 2, 3. Okay. Save. Okay. So you can see that it's OK button, error messages here. 2, student given name is empty. Okay, let me just close. Let's see, right click, view code. Error counter, given name. Let's see. Okay, so I realized that something's missing in our earlier validations. So as you can see over here, error message. So when I display the error message, I need to concatenate all the error messages together. So what I need to do is put it here and include and. Alright, and I'll do that for the other error messages as well. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I think that should do the trick. If I click save, the student ID is empty. Alright, 2, student family name is empty, and 3, student given name is empty. Alright, good. So it's working. But what if, since I'm checking number for my student ID, what if I put SD something? Save. You see, student ID must be a number, so I'm checking if it's a numeral and it's working. Great, it works. So this is the intention of doing validations. Let me quickly close everything. Right click view code. Okay. Alright. Let's continue. Okay. After family name, given name is student address. So why don't I just copy this whole chunk? Address, copy. If student address is empty, then false. Alright, and over here I will change it to, let's see, student address is empty. Right. Post the code. Check. Then over here, code is empty. Okay. Then what else? Student number. Alright, student number, phone number is empty. Then, yep, so this part is a little bit repetitive. Feel free to skip this part. Email value. School. Family member name. Member address. Okay, so I guess I've populated most of the stuff. Let me minimize. Let's try this out. If I save, and you see a bunch of errors. ID, family name, given name, address, postal code, phone number, all the others. If I, let me put in a phone number and family name. If I click save, then you can see that the error messages has been reduced. That means our validation is working. Address, family member address is empty. Alright, because the name is actually there, so the error message not shown. Okay, but what if I, let me just put in save. Voila, as you can see, error message decreased. Okay, so now in my code, there could be a situation when you are trying to enter a student record with the identical student ID, and that should not be allowed. So how do we check if an existing student record under the database worksheet with the same same student ID already exists? So how do you do that? So I'm gonna show you guys very quickly. So remember earlier we set the last row attribute or variable. So right now I will just use last row variable equals to work sheets database. Okay. Dot cells rows dot count a dot end Excel up dot row. Okay, so what this does is that using the worksheets, first of all, this part pulls out the database worksheet. So I'm looking at the cells within the database worksheet, and I'm looking at column A for the rows. Alright, rows within column A. Dot and Excel up. So Excel up essentially means control up arrow key. So I'm scanning upwards and looking at the last row to find the last row with data or string data inside. So looking at column A, all the rows, I'm scanning upwards, alright, and looking for the last row with data inside. So that's how I identify the last row. And why are we doing that? Because we want to scan through the existing data and look for a record with the same student ID. Okay, so next set RNG equals to worksheets database dot range A2 and last row. Alright, save. So I'm looking at database worksheet, and the range that I'm focusing on is column A, cell A2, right, which is the cell right below the heading. So if you can see here, let me just quickly show you, which means here this is A2. Okay, so and I'm looking at the last row. So essentially how you can make sense of this is that it's quotation mark open close A2 colon A with another number. So this can be A5, A6. So A2 cell to A, for instance, 6. So that is the range that we are looking at. So that's how you concatenate these two together to form the overall range. Right. So now with this range set, I'll need to. This essentially tells you the records that is occupying in this particular range, and in A column it contains student ID, so we are scanning through. So how do we do that? For each cell in range, so I'm looping through the cells. So this is a for loop. I'm looping through the cells in that range. If cell dot value equals to student. Okay, let me just copy this. Student ID, then and if, right? Okay. Now I'm checking if within this range, if the value, that means if the value of this range, which contains all the existing student ID, if it's equivalent to the student ID that I'm trying to save, then this should not be happening. This is an error. So similarly, I need to flag it out to the user. I'm going to copy the same validation logic here. First of all, I'll set the checker to false. Alright, that means I need to prevent the entry from being saved. Add a number to the error counter, and then I'll just put here again, same thing, student ID already exists. Alright, so it could be an entry error, so that's why the person has to check and enter a unique ID for the student. Alright, before we move on, there's another thing that you need to note. This is a string attribute, so I need to clng, hold on, I need to use clng to convert the value, the string value, into a long variable, a number, right? I need to convert the string to a number so that I can make the proper comparison, because without this, without converting the string value into a number, then this condition check will fail. Okay, alright, so that's it. We need to check if this works. So first of all, I've pre-populated some records here. You can see we record with student record with student ID 56 and 55. Then we're going to control. Let me try to save something. Alright, that if it's 55, if I save, okay, something's wrong. I mean, don't worry. Run. Let's see, where is it? Debug. So let's do some tracing. If you press debug, step into F8. Either you press F8 or function Fn F8. So I'll just press Fn F8. Okay, so variable not defined. This variable is not defined. Cell. Okay, so I need to define this. Alright, so I press reset. Let me view code again. Alright, cell. Okay. Alright, yeah, I missed it. So let me just duplicate this and then, okay, save. So let me put cell. So okay, I think this is good that I made this mistake, because at the same time I can also show you guys how to use the debug function. Press debug, step into, and we'll actually when we press F8, it will do the tracing and it will tell you where the error is. So now let me just try again. 55. Let's put I don't know, Faisal, and then press save. Alright, as you can see, it's working. Student ID already exists, right? If I try 56, how about that? Student ID already exists. If I try 58, save. Okay, so that error message is gone. Now the first error message is that given name is empty, which makes sense, along with all the other empty text boxes. Okay, let's come back to our code. So after performing so many validations, it's time to finally save the input or the user input from the user form to the database worksheet. And how do you do that? So over here, as you can see, we have inserted this piece of logic earlier. So over here, okay, before we go on, I just want to quickly show you guys that, let me minimize this. Under the database worksheet, you can see that I have already inserted the various headings. So maybe you can just hit pause and copy all the headings on this sheet to the database worksheet. Alright, and also the same headings should be placed under the deleted records worksheet. Once that's done, let me go back to the code. Okay, right. So as we add on new records to the database worksheet, we always want to add the latest record at the bottom on a new line, right? So first of all, we need to determine that new line. That's why now we're using the empty row variable. Before I go on, let me just quickly check empty row. Okay, empty row as long. Okay, set already declared on top. Good. So empty row equals to work sheet function dot count a. So what this does is that it will find the cell containing data in a particular range, right? So I'm looking at range column A. Essentially, I'm looking at column A because column A contains all the student ID and it's also a mandatory field. So I'm looking at column A for the last entry that has data. In fact, the last row that has data at 1. Okay. Alright. So that'll help me find the last row, and then add a number, the new row, where I want to input, where I want to save the record. So that will give me the empty row. Now, cells. First of all, okay, as you can see here, cells, row index, column index. So you put in two things. One is the row number, which is the empty row that has already been identified earlier by scanning through column A, right? And then the first column, which is the student ID, equals to the value here, right? I think you get the gist. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the rest of the values as well. So okay, family name. All right, that'll be the second column. Let me copy everything here. Third column will be given name. Okay. Fourth column, address. And then fifth column, all right. Sixth column, 7 column. Eight column. And okay, we'll do the same for the combo boxes values. Oops, value as well. Okay, 9. The value, and then here 10. Roman year value, then as well all this copy top. All right, I'm just 11 will be 12. Thirteen. Finally, 14 is the family email. Oops. Okay. All right. Delete everything, save. And I also want to let me see. Okay, I also want to, on column 16, I want to save a timestamp. So I put in now, which record the time that the record is being saved. You realize that 15 is missing because column 15 is where I will be saving the file path of the photo, the student photo, and that will be covered in part 2 of this course. So do stay tuned. All right, and okay. So once the record is being saved, I want to also display a quick message to tell the user that the record had been saved successfully. Right, so this is the message. All right, so let's do that. Let's see if this whole thing works. It's always good to check your program as you do the development work incrementally, right? Don't check the logic. I mean, don't check everything at the very end. Always, as you code, you check. As you code, you check, so that it's easier to identify any mistakes or errors that you come along the way. So okay, as you can see here, currently we have 4 records. I'm gonna put in a new one. Right, so let's gonna open, let's say 33. Let's say Marco. Okay, maybe Mu. Okay, Marco. Okay, email is marcomu@gmail.com. Alright, tap, then 1 2 3 4 5. Phone number is 95956363. Alright. Oops, I think I made a mistake. Address, let me just put it here. Address will be Ocean Avenue, Grand, I don't know, 90. Alright, so just some funny address that I managed to come up with on the spot. Maybe F something here. School of Law, Roman year 2021. Alright, family member name. How about Jason, I don't know, Moo, right? Address will be same as the above. Okay, this works. Right. Okay. I need to show you guys how to do this. Just give me a second. Phone number. Okay. 5. And then let's say jason.moo@hotmail.com. Alright. So I've populated everything. The photo part will be covered in part 2. So stay tuned. When I press save, alright, record had been saved successfully. So this message pops out, okay. And when I close this, you can see that, alright, good. The record has been saved. That's great. With the timestamp, okay, which is correct. Alright, great, it works. But when I press the save button, I also, after everything is done, I want the user to go back to this control sheet. I think it looks nicer. So how do I do that? So go back to VBA, view code, and right before everything ends, I think it's just, you can type work sheets control, which is the name of the worksheet. Alright, dot activate. Alright, so this way it will actually bring you back to the control worksheet by activating the sheet. Alright, so that's what you can do. Let's see. Another thing that I want to show you guys is that let's see, when I view object. Okay, so when I click on same as the above, when I want to replicate the student address as the family address, so click here, view code. So essentially what I've done is that I've set the student address equal to the family address. So when you click the box, it will actually duplicate the student address value to the student address value. So that's what I did. Okay, so now I want to show you guys how to validate the user emails, because you know each email follows a certain format. So we also need to validate the format of the email using a function as well as regular expression. So how do we do that? Insert module, right? Then function. So we're going to create a function called valid email. And functions are a bit different from sub, because function can return a result. So this function is going to return me a boolean result. For boolean results, the outcome can either be true or false. Alright, so I'm checking if the email is valid, I should get true, else I should get false. Alright, so I'm gonna create, declare some variables that I'll be using. Dim my regular expression 1, new, right, exp as well as my matches. So you can copy this for now, and I'll show you guys how it works. And then my exp1 dot pattern. So the regular expression pattern that I'll be using is this. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how this works. Alright, so firstly, you can copy this address, https:// reg@ex101.com. So I've already opened the website. So when you have reached the website, just simply paste the regular expression over here. So what does it mean? So the beauty of this website is that it will explain the regular expression to you. As you can see, so the first part matches a regular character in the range A and Z. Alright, case sensitive. Over here, 0 to 9. So basically in the email, you can put any alphanumeric digits or numbers. Alright, and then the back part means that you just need to match a single character in the list. Alright, so okay, so this is what this portion of the code means. Alright, add, because every email there's a add symbol followed by the same thing, A to Z, 0 to 9, and you can match any single character in the list followed by a dot, a slash and dot. Then you can, what's after the dot? Anything between A to Z, and it has to be three times. So normally, gmail.com, hotmail.com, so com means that there are three letters, right? So that's why I put a number 3. So this is my test string, and you can see that it's one match. But if I remove the code, it doesn't work anymore. If I put 1, 2, 3, it works. So this is roughly how you can test out your regular expression for this kind of purpose. Okay, so coming back here to our code. Right, so for this course, I'll just ignore case. I think there's no need to care about the case for now, so ignore case true. Then dot global equals to false. So when I set my regular expression 1 dot global equals false, so what it means is that it will look for the first match, because if this attribute is for my regular expression is true, then it will find all the matches of the pattern in the string. So in this case, when I'm checking the email, I just need one match. I just need to find one match. Alright, okay. Now hold on. Set my matches equals to my regular 1 dot execute. So I'll check against the email that is fed here, fed into the function. Sorry, I forgot to declare the type. It should be email. Email is actually a string value, so I declare a string. So whatever that is being collected from the function, the email variable, I'll fit it into execute function over here. So essentially what this does is that I'm checking the email against this regular expression to see if it's valid, if it falls into this format or not. And valid email equals to if my matches, if I find dot count, if I find one match, alright, that means okay, the email is correct. Alright, so that's what will be returned by this function. So later on, when before we save the new student record, we'll be adding some additional logic that will check if the email is valid or not using this particular function. Okay, before we end this, we also set my matches as nothing, just to clear out this variables equals to nothing. Okay, right? So alright, that's it. This is the function that we just created. Now how do we use it? So I'm just gonna copy the function name, alright, which is located in this module. Let me go back to registration form, view, code, and first email address that I will be checking is the, let's see, student email. Okay, here, right? This is where I need to put the code. Alright, so I'm gonna put in one more condition. Okay, I think I can put here, else if, alright, else if not valid email. Is it valid or not? Then, alright, throw one error that says, let me just copy what is above. Okay, tab, false 1. I will create another message. Okay, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay, let me just copy it away. It should be here. Alright. Okay. Is it valid or not? We're checking this particular value to the email. Alright. Okay. If it's checking, if it's not valid, that means if it's false. Alright, if it's false, then, because remember, for this function, you can either return the value true or false. So not valid email means that it's false. Okay, I'll set the checker as false, and one more number for the error counter, and I'll put the message, student email is of wrong format. Okay, example, I don't know, ABC, it should be 123 at hotmail.com. So this is the correct format. Okay, and I will do the same thing for the family member email as well over here. Okay, let's family email. Okay, family member email is a wrong format. Okay, so let's see if it works. Open, let's say 90. Family name, maybe Lee. Given name is, I don't know, Giselle, maybe. Address, Ocean Avenue, 787. Postal code. Okay, the number, just put in some fictitious, Giselle.lee at maybe hotmail.co, let's say co. Okay, F, school of computing, year 2020. And member will be, I don't know, Lee. Okay, number, okay, just put something like that. l@gmail.com. Okay, so let's see if the logic actually captures the email format error, because I put dot. Let me put dot, yeah, dot .co and dot .c. So the email format is wrong when I press save. Oh, okay, there's an error. Okay, let's do tracing again. So I'm gonna put function f8. Okay. User defined type not defined. Okay. So let's press stop. Tools, references. I think I know where the error is. I need to enable Microsoft VB script regular. Let's see. Where is it? Here. Microsoft VB script regular expression 1.0. So I need to enable this. Okay. Press save. Let's try again. Alright. I've keyed in everything again. Okay. Let me quickly put them in. Okay, think I made another mistake here. Should be pattern. Pop. Let me check my code. Okay, so I think the rest should be correct. Okay, let's quickly. Okay, so as you can see over here, student email is the wrong format, right? So it's working. How about okay, economics, right? Same as the above. And don't know why I keep typing the email in my phone number box. Alright, so when I press, okay, so now you can see that my email are the wrong format, right? So let's say I press save. Okay, you can see that the emails are wrong format. So let me quickly correct them. .com and .com. save. Do you notice that when I save, straight away I'm directed back to the control sheet and the record has been saved. Let me quickly press close and see that. Alright, great, it's been saved. Alright, quickly I'm going to show you guys how to do the closing of the form. So control Visual Basic, right click on the registration form and view object, close, view code, simply unload the registration form. Alright, so this should work. So let's open this, and when I press close, it works. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching till the very end of this video. I know it's a bit long. I hope that you learned something new. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button, click like as well as the notification bell. And here's a little Bible verse to encourage you to keep going. You know, sometimes all it takes is a little faith to keep going and learn about different stuff such as programming, because I also know that it is not easy to learn coding. So just don't give up, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care and goodbye.